And we're back right after that stupid bath scene.
そうね。ただでさえ無駄に広いのに、人もグライダーもないとなるとね。
先輩たちが引退しちゃったらずっとこのままなのかな。
でしょうね。けど元に戻るだけよ。あの人たちが来る以前に。
なんでだろう。先輩たちがいてグライダーがあるのが当然みたいに思えちゃうんだよね。
ここがもともと飛行機用のドックだったからじゃない？
You mean a hangar?
そうなのかな。なんだか寂しいよ、ヨルちゃん。せっかく楽しいことが始まってたのに。
ほんと勝手な人たちよね。私たちの気持ちももう少し考えてほしいものだわ。
私たち？
言い間違えただけ。姉さんの気持ち。いや、
すごい言い間違いだね。一文字も合ってないよ。明日あのすごい雲来るかな。
さあ、確率的にはこの3日くらいが一番ありそうだったけど。
緊張してきた。
だからっておやつ食べすぎ。私の分残しておいてね。
食べてないと落ち着かないんだもん。
まったく。
そういう夜ちゃんはなんで掃除してるの？
別にみんな物を出しっぱなしにしてるから。何かしらこれ。ロープ？いたいた。おーい、朝ちゃん、夜ちゃん。
ハゲハ先輩、どうしたんですかこんな時間に。
いやー、家に一人でいると落ち着かなくって。ほら、明日あたり来そうでしょ。それで飛び魚荘に行こうかと思ったんだけど、せっかく二人きりなのを邪魔しても悪いと思って。ちょうど姉さんが寂しがってたところです。
先輩、大歓迎です。
ありがとう。はい、これ差し入れのイチゴ。
イチゴだよ、ヨルちゃん。
Who brings strawberries to, like, give to their friends? Like, why don't you bring something fun like chocolate?
ヨルちゃん、それ何？そこの物置で見つけたんです。ロープみたいに見えるんですけど。ほら。ゴム？ゴムの紐なんだ。何に使うものなのかと思って。なんだろう。何かをぶら下げてたのかな。ここにあるものだから飛行機に関係するものだと思うんですけど。
それよりイチゴ食べましょうよ。
そうだね。食べよう食べよう。
Man, it's really focusing a lot on these three right now.
もらい物なんだけど、うちじゃ食べきれないから持ってきたんだ。今日はここで寝るんですか？
Wait, they were a gift? Someone gifted you strawberries? Okay.
寝袋も持ってきたよ。もしかしたら今夜で終わりかもしれないもんね。
アゲハ先輩、本当にやめちゃうんですか？
小鳥がやめるならね。小鳥先輩がいなくても続けられるじゃないですか。 続けられるけど続ける意味がないっていうか。
アゲハ先輩はグライダーが好きじゃないんですか？
好きだよ。小鳥や葵や朝ちゃんたちとやるならやっぱりグライダーがいいな。葵たちが飛んでるの見るの好きだから。
アゲハ先輩って変わってますね。
そう？なんで？
普通は自分で飛びたがるものじゃないでしょうか。
そうかもね。何度か葵に乗せてもらったけど気持ちいいよね。
はい、気持ちいいです。
でもまあそれが私の目的じゃないし、うまく言えないけど一番大事なのはそこじゃないの。
小鳥先輩がいなくなったらその大事なものもなくなってしまうってことですか？
そういうこと。
先輩たちはそんな風に思える大切な仲間なんだってことですよね。
仲間か。去年の夏にガレージを取り壊されてからほんと大変だったからね。あの時は悔しかったしほんと泣きそうだったけど、でも今思うとあれはあれで良かったのかなって思う。ただのクラブ活動以上のことができてるのは学校から外へ飛び出してったおかげだもん。
羨ましいです、先輩たちが。
Why? You're here with us.
何言ってんの。朝ちゃんももうとっくに仲間じゃん。部外者とか言いながらいつも手伝ってくれてるヨルちゃんもね。ねえヨルちゃん、さっきのロープ見せて。何に使うものか調べてみよう。
そうですね。今日はみんなで並んで寝ましょうね、川の字になって。
なんかキャンプに来たみたいだね。
Man, it spent so much time with those three. I said maybe 3 things that whole time.
のぼせた。
Okay, well, thankfully you're at least wearing something. Kotori was being fanned down by the electric fan while in her underwear. Here you go, barley tea.
ありがとう。染み渡る。
I did the same as I poured my own glass in and drank it in one go. Barley tea, do you drink that hot or cold? Because if it was hot, then, like, how did you survive that? Just a little more time and I would have dehydrated. Thankful for our drinks, Kotori held her glass in both hands and faced down with a blush.
すごいことをしちゃったね。
Yep.
葵くんじゃないや、葵すごいエッチだった。普段そんな風に全然見えないのに。
Is that right? I guess normally if a guy said I'm a dirty bastard, you would hate him for sure.
絶対嫌。
Instant reply. Do you also hate it when I get dirty during those times? Please. I was a little worried. Kotori gave it a quick thought before she replied.
刺激的。
She said, okay. Didn't understand what she meant, but it didn't seem to be an expression of rejection. What do you mean you didn't understand what she meant? I softly patted her hair. You're already really cute normally, but when you're having sex, you're 150% cuter.
人をエッチ大好きみたいに言って。
I wouldn't know, I just skipped through everything.
葵とだからよ。葵が私のことを求めてくれるのが嬉しいのであって、別にエッチなわけじゃないもん。そこんとこ勘違いしないでよね。
Sweep? Okay, she pointed at me with her finger. Okay, I guess that was a sweep sound effect. I know, I like you, Kotori. I crouched down and tightly hugged Kotori, then followed her up with a kiss.
エッチなのもいいけど、こういうのもいい。
Me too. We embraced softly. faint bubbling happiness spread across me. How about we go out for a bit?
いいけど
Changed our clothes and headed outside. The wind was refreshing. It was just the start of August. In the morning, cicadas were already out and buzzing. I can't see anything, I said as I looked up at the sky. According to Amane's prediction, these 3 days should be the highest probability.
いよいよなのね
Took a moment for me to understand what she had murmured. Yeah, pretty soon. I responded firmly.
私飛びたいモーニンググローリーは雲の回廊を渡りたい
Kodri almost seemed to be wishing as she said it.
そうしたら取り戻せる気がするの未来が
Your future? Kodri gave a deep nod.
そう未来私がなくした一番大きなものもしモーニンググローリーを飛べれば取り戻せる気がするの
It wasn't as if she thought God was beyond those clouds and would give it back to her. Kodri Habane had lost her dignity. If she flew, I knew she wouldn't be able to believe in the future that lay ahead of her. So I said, "You'll get it back." Kodri clung to me tightly.
一人じゃ不安だけど葵といると勇気が湧いてくるそばにいてくれてありがとう
Gave her a strong hug. You'll definitely fly. Both looked at the same place, straight up in the sky at the highest point we could see.
Nani? なんか騒がしいんだけど
Good morning.
起きてきたおはよう小鳥
おはようございます小鳥先輩
おはようあんたたちかってなんでアゲハまでいるのいやー一人寝が寂しくて昨日朝ちゃんたちに混ぜてもらってたの
コロッケいただいてますこれ小鳥先輩が作ったんですよね
いいけど全部食べちゃダメよそれ本当は葵のなんだから葵
Yoko's response had a bit of a twitch to it.
今なんかさらっと呼び捨てにしたわねどうやら夕べのうちに進展があった模様うっさいわねいいでしょなんて呼ぼうがこっちに来なくてよかったわ危うくお邪魔虫になるところだった
Now, Kodri, do you want some rice?
大盛りで
As I was filling her bowl, I could hear a few voices coming from the hall. Is someone there?
おはよ
Kaneko entered the dining hall with a big smile on her face. She wasn't alone. Coming in after her
ただい
was...
ま水瀬くん
Well, it's convenient that you all came back the day after everything happened. Yuka.
あー疲れたバスの中で一睡もできなかったよおはようございます
早苗さんに涼子ちゃんもみんなどうしたのかなこさんから電話もらったのよ
そうそうソアリング部のみんながなんかすごいことするらしいから見といた方がいいよって
それで夜行バスで帰ってきたらみんな時間が同じだったみたいで駅でばったり
You all came because of a hunch that Kaneko had. Okay. So that's why you're all here so early.
私はさっき寮の前で会ったんだけどね
あの2階の部屋に隠してあったグライダーで飛ぶんでしょ。なんとかって雲を。
私たちも興味あるからさ、みんな頑張ってたのいつも横で見てたし、一度飛んでるところ見てみたかったから。そう言うと思って一応連絡も回しておいたわけ。みんな
From the time our garage was trashed to the time we got our base, Flying Fish Manor was where we had been doing our work. And it was a bit of a nuisance for Yuka and everyone else, but they never complained, and they even helped from time to time.
というわけで朝ごはんプリーズ。
There's some croquettes if you like. Totally made them.
これ小鳥ちゃん作ったの？すごい美味しそう。
They can eat them, right?
もちろんよ。私たちの晴れ舞台を見るためにわざわざ帰ってきてくれたんだもん。
I still don't know what croquettes are.
でもお口に合うかしら。昨日作ったやつだからもう冷めてるし。
I'll put them in the microwave. There's rice and miso soup too. I'll get you some.
私手伝うわ。
Entrance doorbell rang just as I was scooping out a serving of rice.
Hi.
Sanai pattered off to the entrance. A bit later,
お邪魔します。
I thought it was going to be Amane. Oh, hey, Anshan. As he entered, all the girls blushed a little and began fixing their hair.
おはよう、ハニー。
Oh my goodness, I forgot all about you. I didn't, but she's been shown so little I might as well have.
よう来てやったぞ。
You I forgot about. Hotaru, Mabo, what are you doing here?
昨日いちごのお裾分け持っていこうと思ったんだけどな。アゲハにお邪魔になるからやめとけって言われて、仕事行く前に持ってきたんだ。
Saying that, she is that supposed to be he put 3 packs of strawberries on the table?
昨日のいちごだ。本当だ。
So you're the mysterious strawberry gifter?
私はあーちゃんに呼ばれて。あーちゃん、はい着替え。おお、悪いわね。
And what about you, Mabo?
あ？こないだ飛んでるとこ見に行った時、なんか中途半端になっちゃっただろ。もう一回ちゃんと見ときたいと思ってな。
Oh, really?
あ、勘違いすんなよ。これは生徒会役員としてだからな。別にお前らなんか興味ねえからな。
Yeah, I get it. Say it, don't spray it.
なんか一気に大所帯に。
Nanchan, are you guys gonna eat breakfast?
いいのか？
じゃあちょっとだけ。
なんかうまそうだなこのコロッケ。
I guess making all these croquettes was a good idea.
葵の分ちゃんと残るかしら。
Well, he already had some, so it doesn't matter.
しかしこうなると足りない人が一人いるわね。おっと言ったそばから。
Why'd the music
この
stop?
チャイムの押し方は。
私見てきます。
Yoko headed towards the entrance. A moment later,
やあ、おはようみんな。
the music stopped and I was thinking it was gonna be something bad. Amane walked in with a huge smile on her face.
本当に来ちゃったよ。
Good morning, what happened? You're here early.
今日もテストをするんだろう。顧問としてしっかり見ておこうと思ってな。いつも気まぐれで来たり来なかったりするくせに、ご飯の匂いにつられてきたんじゃないでしょうね。いい匂いだ。お腹空いてたのを思い出してしまったぞ。
What was that noise? Was that like a stomach growl noise? Here you are.
わーい、ありがとう葵くん。
In a moment, the normal quiet morning suddenly became very noisy. It felt just like the morning before a festival.
葵くん、おかわり。あー、こっちも。
Alright, I'm on it.
こら、あんたたち食べ過ぎ。葵の分なくなっちゃう。
I had some yesterday.
葵？
葵？
なになに？
Everyone noticed how she left off the honorific.
もういいでしょ、なんて呼ぼうが。
No, yeah, they were all gone when that all happened. It was a pretty cool morning. It really felt as if summer was about to end.
ほら、さっさと食べてテストフライトやるわよ。
This was likely the last summer for us. Drink break. Today's flight is all ready to go. Morning Glory will appear tomorrow. I don't know how he knows that, I don't know. Thinking like that, everyone was able to get in the mood to really focus on their work. It was set up to be like the real flight from takeoff all the way to getting up to the clouds. Air currents are heavily dependent on season time and the patterns of the pressure in the sky. This makes it difficult to fly the same course the same way. However, places with frequent vertical drafts tend to have them because of topological reasons. Today's flight is trying to be as close as it could be to the real thing. It's basically a preview.
どうだった？いけそう？リフトは捕まえられたけど、サーマルに乗るのとは感覚が違うのね。
If you're doing a practice to like get up, like a morning glory practice, why wouldn't you do it like way in the morning? Because that's like when it's gonna happen.
流れが読めなくて戸惑った。意外なところに下降気流が発生してたり。でも大丈夫。だんだん慣れてきたから。
They're coming back from our second flight. We were taking a break while again crew were checking the glider. Flying on an unfamiliar course was particularly hard since the wind is strong today. I've been directing the course from behind so that Kotoki could focus on controlling the glider.
想定よりだいぶ流されてたもんね。
アゲハ先輩、チェック完了しました。こっち異常なしです。
こっちもよ。オッケー。じゃああと5分休憩したら次のフライト行くよ。次どこまで飛ぶ？まだ時間あるし、もう一回様子見する？
No, I'd like to fly while we've got the time to spare. I don't want to be trying to come back when the sun's already gone down.
そうね、それがいいと思う。ってことは次は野外着陸も視野に入れてのフライトってわけね。
An outside landing is basically landing somewhere other than the runway. If the glider runs out of power, that means we can't return to the runway like normal. However, it isn't exactly the same as an emergency landing. Rather, it's to land in a place that won't be a bother and allows for recovery if necessary. Of course, that's ignoring the possibility of damage to the aircraft. Since we never flew very far, we always flew with the assumption that we'd be returning to the runway. We're still essentially doing that today, but there's no guarantee when the real flight happens. Luckily, there's a lot of open land on the Kazagawa mountainside. It shouldn't be hard to find a place to do an outside landing, other than the fact that it's, you know, on a mountainside, where it's not level.
だいぶ風が出てきたな。
Amine whispered as she looked at the clouds moving briskly across the sky. And it's much stronger than we had anticipated. We almost had to do an outside landing earlier. An outside landing.
Oi! 飲み物買ってきたぞ。
Was outside landing the term they always used for it? It was out. Okay, I guess I'm stupid. Never mind. Mabo came back with a convenience store bag in hand. He'd been out on a trip since morning. It's about the time he'd usually get bored, but surprisingly, he's been helping out with a lot of stuff. Thanks, Mabo.
別にお前のためじゃねえよ。お前の分はついでだからな。
またまた葵大好きっ子なくせに。
ちげえよバカ。俺が愛してるのはあかりさんだ。
took the cold sports drinks from Mabo and handed one to Kotori. There's no air conditioner in the cockpit, so it's like being in a greenhouse. It's really easy to get dehydrated. Okay, about time to get going. Since the wind was strong today, the glider is moored to the ground. After it was released, Kotori headed off to the cockpit. As Gea called out for me and went to take the cookies from her. The wind suddenly changed directions. Wind coming from the lake suddenly blew stronger than it had all day. Turning my head to look, I heard Amane's shriek. I saw not only the glider being pushed by the sudden burst of wind, but also, right in front of that giant wind, a completely helpless Kotori. Kotori. That didn't sound like a good noise. The next thing we knew, Kotori was hit by the main wing and sent flying out of her chair. Kotori. By the time I'd made it to her side, she had lost consciousness. Paced back and forth in front of the dorm telephone. Why didn't you, like, wait to unmoor it after you got in it? Instead of, like, doing it beforehand when there's already some pretty strong wind. I paced back and forth in front of the dorm telephone. Yeah. I paused mid-response. Kotori was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Hibari went with her, and I had only heard a little from her. While she had no visible injuries, Kotori was going to be given a thorough examination. Luckily, the wing hit her wheelchair, so Kotori was only knocked out of it. Hibari was supposed to contact me and let me know the results, but I still hadn't heard anything. I stared at my silent phone. I let out a frustrated sigh as the doorbell rang. Only a moment later, there was a sudden banging on the door.
Nani?
Come in. I backed up and opened the door. Standing there was... Not Tobioka? Tobioka yelled as soon as he saw me. How did he know? Why was he that frantic? Hundreds of questions popped into my head. No, she's still at the hospital. I told him the directions I had heard from Hibari. No, she had no obvious injuries. They're just giving her a thorough examination right now. Looking closely, I could see he was sweating. Besides breathing heavily, sweat was beading on his forehead and messing up his thinning hair. Seems like he had heard about the accident and instantly ran here. No, not seems like. Marino-sensei should be at the hospital. Marino-sensei was our homeroom teacher. Why did he go? But Tobioka isn't. Why would he rush all the way out there? Oh, here. Amane had come running from the dining hall after hearing the noise. Tobioka glared at Amane as soon as he saw her. Amane stood there, seemingly paralyzed by fear from the vicious reprimanding that Tobioka barked. He then gave us all a rage-filled stare. Well, I mean, it's an out-of-school activity. What's the problem? Accidents happen. But it was, what did you say? Out of school. He spoke as if he had some deep-seated grudge. When finished, he marched out of the dorm. He was likely to be heading to the hospital Kotori had been taken to. I have no idea. Tobioka was mad. I can understand and even have predicted that much. No, but he was more than angry. I could see that he was genuinely worried about Kotori. He wasn't her homeroom teacher, supervisor, or even someone who had much contact with her. He had no particular reason to feel that strong about Kotori. Well, that was probably normal for a teacher. It still seemed way too strong.
私の責任だ。
Accidents happen. Amane spoke quietly.
だからそうじゃないですってば。
We had repeated this conversation a number of times after Kotori had been taken to the hospital.
顧問っていうのは建前みたいなもので、責任は私らにあるんです。
Like Kali had said, you can't be recognized as a club unless you have a supervisor, which is why we asked Amane. That was just a front, though. We intended to take all responsibility were something to actually happen. But the truth is that when something did happen, Amane would be the one to take the fall.
いや、でも引き受けたのは私だ。飛岡先生が怒るのは当然だ。
Can you speak up?
先輩。
There was nothing that could be said to console her. All we could do now was pray Kotori was okay. I see. Really, that's good. Yeah, I see. Thank you for going through the trouble to call me. Please tell her I said hi. Let out a sigh of relief and set down the phone.
なんだって？
Well, they said they didn't find anything wrong. She'll be spending the night at the hospital just to be safe.
よかった。よかったです。
Yeah, she could have broken her legs. That was Hibari on the phone. She had called to explain Kotori's situation.
無事だったみたいね。
Kaneko came out from the hallway and gave us all a look. Sorry that I kept you worrying.
本当だよ。ねえ、ハット先輩。こわこわ。
Well, there was no way Hat knew what just happened. His quack made it apparent he knew Kotori's absence meant something was wrong.
ゆかさんたちにも教えてこよう
Kaneko left the dining hall, taking Hat with her.
と。それじゃあ、私そろそろ帰るね。
Alright, I'll walk with you for a bit. What are you gonna do, Amane? I'll prepare a room if you want to stay here.
いや、仕事があるから戻るよ。何かあったら知らせてほしい。
Got it. Knowing that Kotori was okay, we were finally able to move away from the phone. I went outside with Ageo. The cicadas sure have gotten quiet. That does not sound quiet. It sounds like there's like a super cicada making a loud noise. That was loud.
もう夏も終わりだもんね。
After a few days, it'll be September and summer vacation will be over. So much had happened to us this month that it was over before any of us knew it. Ageo stopped unexpectedly. What's wrong?
葵。
Ageo folded her hands around mine. Ageo? Her hands were trembling. Only her hands with her shoulders, her knees, her lips. It was as if the trembles had taken over her entire body.
安心したら急に怖くなってきちゃって。ごめん。ちょっとの間だけ。
Oh, okay. I answered briefly and began to hold her hands back in return.
倒れてる小鳥を見たとき、すごく怖かった。小鳥にもしものことがあったらどうしようって。怖くて、怖くて。
As she whispered this, Ageo was shaking as if she had chills. It was as if her blood was frozen, the same feeling I had when I saw what happened to Kotori. It was a truly horrifying, chilling moment. I held Ageo's hand tightly. I wasn't sure if it was to comfort her or myself.
少し落ち着いた。
Ageo let go of my hands.
ありがとう、葵。
Don't mention it, I feel a bit relieved myself.
小鳥には後でちゃんと謝っとくね。葵の手を借りちゃったって。
Ageo smiled and laughed. She was back to her normal self. Continued to walk.
日が沈んでく。
Ageo whispered as she looked up the slightly hilly road we were walking up. The setting sun gave the sky and clouds an orange glow.
この分じゃ明日も来そうにないね。
Yep. The night before the morning glory's appearance, the eastern sky is purple. Last year we saw a bluish-purple sky. Next morning, Amine was cursing at the sky. Tonight's moon was orange as always. The morning glory won't be... the moon. The morning glory won't be coming tomorrow. I hope it doesn't come while Kotali's not here.
本当だよ。そんなことになったら、あの子一生根に持つよ。
Yeah, what happened to the glider?
あ、見てあれ。
We could see the shadows of about 5 people on the runway. They were dismantling our glider.
先生たちだ。
Amongst the faces I saw, teachers from our school. Now, what are you doing?
おい、みなせ。邪魔するんじゃないぞ。
But Tobioka.
言っただろう。グライダーは没収すると。もともとお前たちが学校から盗み出したものだがな。
Can you not tell that it's like not even close to the same thing? I took off the main wing and dumped it into the back of a truck.
やめて。そんな積み方したら翼が。
Geha ran up to the
この
teachers.
トレーラーを使ってください。
Trailer made specifically for transport and glider was nearby. Geha realized stopping them was not possible, and said she focused on helping them use the trailer. She didn't want the glider to get damaged.
葵も手伝って。
Okay.
いい心がけだ。
We showed the teachers how to dismantle it and got it loaded onto the trailer.
積み込みが完了したら学校へ運んでください。
Tobioka gave orders to the other teachers. What are you gonna do to it?
お前たちには関係ない。言っておくが、次もし盗っ人のような真似をしたら、ただでは済まさんぞ。それでは車を出してください。
Trailer and the car pulling it began to move. After confirming it was okay, Tobioka went over to his own car. At that moment, he turned his head to look at us. Our eyes met. He looked at me as if nothing had happened. He proceeded to get into his car and drive off the runway. All we could do was watch it leave while some nice music played. And it's over. The next day...
たったいまー。
well, welcome back. A bit afternoon, he brought Kotari back.
姉さん、ストップ。
As I lunged towards Kotari, but Yoru held her back.
病み上がりだってば姉さん。
But nothing happened to her. Did you not hear what the phone call was? They said nothing happened. Hat flew over to Kotari and sat on her lap.
ただいま、ハット。
Seeing her like this, I let out a sigh of relief. Everyone had waited here for her to come back.
いやー、なんか悪いわね。勢揃いでお出迎えしてくれちゃって。ほんと、何様だよ、あんた。
So everything is alright?
なんともないわよ。ちょっと頭を打っただけだから。軽い脳震盪だってさ。本当は昨日のうちに帰りたかったんだけど、ひばり姉が心配性でさ。でもほら、もうこの通りピンピンしてるから。
Oh, you're fine. Well, we got some good news for you. Kotari was waving her arms all around and being unusually talkative. Her wheelchair was a bit banged up. It must have been where the wing hit. Just from seeing her wheelchair, I could tell how hard the impact was. I'm sorry, Kotari.
なんで葵が謝るのよ。
If I hadn't left your side, this would have never.
それは違うでしょ。私が勝手に離れたんだから。あれは私の不注意。他の誰も悪くありません。
I think it was the fault of whoever said to unanchor it.
それになんともなかったんだから問題ないでしょ。
Hibari stood behind her cheerful sister with a solemn expression on her face.
さてと、そんじゃ訓練を再開しましょう。
Practice, but you...
だって昨日中途半端になっちゃったでしょ。
まだ本番を想定したフライトできてないし。
Well, do we have some news for you?
病院の窓から空を見ながら気が気じゃなかったわよ。今モーニンググローリーが来ちゃったらどうしようって。さあ行きましょう。時間がもったいない。バカなこと言わないで。
Scream suddenly ripped out of the pale Hibari.
昨日あんなことがあったばかりなのよ。
Well, she didn't crash.
あんなことって別に大した怪我じゃなかったんだし。
Yeah, see, there you go.
たまたま運が良かっただけよ。また同じことがあったら次はどうなるかわからないわ。お願いひばりね。モーニンググローリーがもう来ちゃうの。多分今夜か、そうじゃないなら明日か明後日か。もう時間がないの。ダメよ、許さないわ。ひばりね。
Cudley, at least right now you should rest. I mean...
葵まで休んでる暇なんてないの知ってるくせに。私なら大丈夫よ。お医者さんのお墨付きももらってきたんだから。
I didn't know whether or not to tell her about the glider being confiscated. If I told her, she would be devastated. She would absolutely feel that it was all her fault. Without me saying anything, Hibari began to speak.
もうダメなの、小鳥ちゃん。たとえ私がいいって言っても続けられないわ。どういうこと？
The front doorbell rang. We weren't expecting anyone right now. It was probably a teacher or someone like that. I'll be right there. After opening the door, a well-dressed man in a suit walked in.
お父さん？
小鳥、
Seeing his daughter, he ran over and kneeled down next to her wheelchair.
頭を打ったんだって。大丈夫なのかい？
平気よ。なんともないわ。
けれど昨日は入院したんだろ？
ただの検査入院。ちょっと坂道で転んだだけだから。小鳥ちゃん、お父さんは全部ご存知よ。え？昨日全部お話ししたの。事故の原因も小鳥ちゃんが隠れてやっていたことも。
Well, that wasn't very nice of you. Saying nothing, Kotori's father looked at her with tears in his eyes. Kotori turned to look at Hibari.
約束が違う。夏休みが終わるまで待ってくれるって言ってたのに。言わないわけにはいかないでしょ。
By not telling him.
でもそんなことをしたらお父さんたちが。
Kotori glanced over at her father. He was looking at her with intense sadness. She turned her head away in shame.
私たちがどんなに心配するかちゃんと分かっていたんだね。それなのに。違うの、
お父さん。だってそうしないと許してくれないから。だから。
当たり前じゃないか。お前は自分がどうしてそんな体になってしまったのか忘れたのか。
Well, it wasn't a glider, that's for sure. Kotori shook her head.
じゃあどうしてグライダーなんて危険な乗り物に乗ったりしたんだ。
Her father's voice was quiet yet reproachful. Kotori hung her head low and said nothing in response.
お願いお父さん。夏休みが終わるまででいいの。私にグライダーを続けさせて。
ダメだ。
お父さん。
そんな危険な遊び続けさせるわけにはいかない。
私ここにいるみんなと一緒に頑張ってきたの。この夏のために。遊びじゃないの。真剣なの。
Headset. Kotori's father looked at his daughter with sad eyes.
グライダーで空を飛んだからなんだと言うんだ。そんなもの危険なだけじゃないか。遊びたいならもっと他のことをすればいい。お父さんが探してあげるから。
What? What else is there?
そうじゃないの。
Kotori was searching for the right words to defend herself, but she could not find them. Why she wanted to fly, why it'd be a glider, she needed to be able to say why she had those feelings. Whatever words she would pick, however, just would not convey her feelings to anyone else. Looking at his daughter struggling for words, he let out a heavy sigh.
もうここには置いておけない。さあ、 お父さんと一緒に家へ帰ろう。
そんな、待ってよ、話を聞いてよ。
Kotori threw her head up in protest, but her father began to wheel her out while completely ignoring her. Please wait. Couldn't help but throw myself between Kotori and her father. How did you throw yourself between them? He was pushing her. There was no room.
水瀬さん。
1v1 me. He looked at me with puzzled eyes. When he called a few days before, Kotori's father had completely trusted me. I had betrayed that trust. Like Kotori, I had not said things that should have been said. We all worked towards getting Kotori to be able to fly. You said it on the phone, didn't you? About how Kotori's changing was all due to me? That's not right. It was all due to the glider, and all her friends here. Kotori nodded desperately. This time there was an accident, but our goal is right in front of our eyes. If you say Kotori can't fly, then she can't. But please, at least let her finish this. I spoke as earnestly as I could. My head was bowed to him.
私からもお願いします。お願いします。小鳥先輩のお父さん。お願いします。
Her father looked at the members of the soaring club, each with their heads bowed.
この子がハンデを負っていることはあなたたちもよくご存知のはずだ。あなたたちが普通にできることもこの子にはできないんですよ。
He spoke in a quiet yet grave tone.
この子をあなたたち普通の若者の夢に巻き込まないでやってください。
お父さん、そんな言い方やめて。
本当のことだ。
Kotori turned pale as she heard what her father was saying.
すごく頑張ったのよ。いっぱい練習して上手になったの。ちゃんと自分で操縦して飛べるようにもなったんだから。
それはここにいる皆さんの助けがあってのことだろ。
それにグライダーはとっても安全な乗り物なんだから。だから私が乗ったって。
お前が家を出るとき私たちに言ったことを覚えているかい？お前はこう言ったんだ。お父さんたちに心配をかけてばかりなのが嫌だ。だから一人で慶風学園に行きたいと。
その気持ちは今も変わってない。
And she said that her father ran his hand over the damaged part of her wheelchair.
たまたま当たったのが車椅子だったからよかった。もし体のどこか頭にでも当たっていたらどう？さあ帰ろう小鳥。お母さんも心配してる。早く安心させてやってくれ。
He starts pushing her wheelchair. If I didn't do anything, Kotori would be gone forever. Wait.
待って、お父さん。
Kotori stopped the wheels.
小鳥。
お願い、ここにいさせて。グライダーやめるから、もう乗らないから。だからお願い。私、ここにいたいの。
Kotori's father looked at his crying daughter with sadness in his own eyes.
お父さんたちの気持ちも分かってくれ。
私、帰りたくない。
小鳥。
ねえお父さん、小鳥ちゃんに少し時間をあげて。今夜は私が小鳥ちゃんを引き取るから、少し落ち着いてからお話ししましょうね。小鳥ちゃんもそうしましょう。
Kotori's father silently nodded.
また迎えに行く。それまでこの子を頼む。
Might not be any CGs, I might as well use the dad.
小鳥、後でお母さんに電話して元気な声を聞かせてあげておくれ。
Yeah, some good music. He made a slight bow to us and began to push Kotori's wheelchair. Kotori, he's gonna leave. As I started to run after them, Cody's father turned to face me.
これは私たち家族の問題なんです。
He said this with an anguished look on his face and then proceeded to put his head down and leave. Alright, well, I guess that's all for today. So, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Oh, whoops, wrong button.